Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in again. So where am I today? I'm on a local site that I've got permission for in Chepstow. Got a couple of lucky mascots right behind me there. So I'm using the Manticore today. Not a massive preamble. I'm going to test out some new audio settings today. I'm going to use depth and simple. Recommendations from Sid from England's History. Actually, got to check his channel out. What Sid doesn't know about detecting isn't worth knowing. So I'm going to have a mess about with some of Sid's audio settings that he was messing about with the other day. Going to give that a go. So let's see if we can find anything. We'll show you the target traces and see if we can winkle out anything in between the iron, and we'll go from there. So as ever, I'm Gaz and this is discovermetaldetecting.co.uk. Hi guys, so first target in, I've got an interesting one here. I've just taken, hopefully you can hear this, I've just taken the headphones off. Okay, I'm a little bit, I'll tell you what, let me just drop that down slightly. So I've got the iron down low, so you probably can't hear the iron, but there is iron around it. Just under the coil bolt there, I'm just tipping the coil. There is iron around it. Target trace is tiny little bit elongated, but it's definitely non-ferrous. There it is again. Bleeding, because I think there's some iron in there as well. There's some iron affecting it. But if we go around it, can you see that target trace changing and getting smaller as we angle around it? Now the back of the coil is going to pick up that iron again, and it's going to start bleeding. I think that needs to come out. I'm not going to check that in 10 kilohertz because I think that is a target. So let's quickly whip that. The ground, since the last time I was up here, the ground is so much. Can you see that in the hole now there? Those numbers going red. Iron in the hole, target in the plug. So that target trace, I am absolutely loving the target trace on the Manticore. Right, I'm going to try and do this one-handed, guys. Hold on a minute. Because it just allows you to, it's in there, to circle a target. It just allows you to circle a target and pick out bits in between the iron. Okay, so on this occasion, okay, unfortunately, that is a little bit of foil. However, that was in the hammered range. I forget the numbers now, it's coming in the 20s, wasn't it? No, that is right in hammered territory. So we have picked that out, and you could see that the numbers were turning red. So there's iron in there, and it's just picked out a non-ferrous item, and that really is all a hammered is. It's like that, and it's a non-ferrous item. So you know, I'm really getting to grips with this 2D trace now. So yeah, on to the next. Okay guys, another interesting one here. I've just checked it. There's nothing around it. Let me just see if I can knock the headphones. Let me just check the headphones off to see if you guys can hear that. Have I just... There we are. So, let's have a look at the target trace. On the centre line, big blob there, quite round. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Still a blob. Let's try 90. So it's given us, it's banks in a little bit, but it could just mean that there's something else down there. If ever your numbers banks, right, let's whip that out. So if ever your numbers banks, it could be because it's a button or a buckle, and there could be two different types of metal in the buckle. You know, it could have an iron pin. bronze around the outside, or you know, etc. Same with the button. Let's have a little. Still in the hole. We'll take a bit more of the loose out, and then we'll have a go with the pinpointer if we can't find that. This ground is a bit easier to dig now. Right, I think that is most definitely out. It was just catching the end of the coil there. Right, let's have a look with the pinpointer. Oh, I thought it might have been in that loose, but obviously not. And on this occasion, again, I think we have got a lovely bit of foil again. Oh dear, right in the hammered territory. However, that has got to come out. So that was was giving me no indications that should not get dug. Yeah, okay. I mean, we all do that. On to the next. Okay, got another interesting one here, guys. I'll just show you the target trace. There is a fair bit of iron around it. You can see, well, I can hear it in my headphones, but you can see the numbers turning red. But just after it there, look at that little target. Can you see that little target trace? 2021, which is right in the hammer territory, and there's iron there as well. But that is such a tiny little trace. There it is again, 2021, and there's iron. It's surrounded by iron, but the Manti has picked it out. So we are going to whip that out, because I think that's a separate target that's hidden in amongst that clump of iron there. I mean, it may be a bit of foil again, you never know, but I've had so many hammered off this. So numbers are turning red again, and it's in the top. So once again, we have picked out a non-ferrous item in amongst the iron. Alright, so it's in there. Is that it? Nope, that's a bit of stone. Is it going to be a pinpointer job? Because I can't immediately see what that is. It might be a pinpointer job. I was hoping it might be a bit more visible. Okay. So I can see that, and it looks, oh god, I'm trying to get you. Okay, oh god, Bennett, come on, Garrett, you're better than that. Okay, so we have got a little bit of square non-ferrous. Okay, so, okay, I mean, not great, but again, you know, like I've said before, that could have been hammered. And it was in amongst all the iron, and we picked it out with a target trace. It was getting very smeary, but then as I turned around, you can fiddle it and wiggle it and get rid of the red numbers, and then all of a sudden that smear, as you go around the target and circle around the target, goes into a tiny little ball, and that is the result. So there you go, another score but no score with the Manti. Okay guys, another target in. Quite interested in this one. I've just turned off my headphones, turned on a speaker, hopefully you can hear it. I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving this depth theme with simple profile. Just a little tip, not my tip, Sid's tip, was I've got the, you can adjust the minimum pitch where the depth sounds on non-ferrous, which I've raised to 22 on Sid's recommendation, so that should differentiate it even more from the low touch. It's lovely because you can still hear, I hunt in all metal, as you know, and I can still hear the iron in the ground because I'm in all metal with the low pitch of 1, but everything else gives you that It just literally latches onto targets. It's brilliant. Anyway, so there we go. There's the trace. We've got a bit of there's, you probably can't, I've got the iron turned down low, you can't hear it. Numbers have turned red there, so we got, but we've picked out a target there. I think we got some more. There is some more iron. There's some more iron there, but that is leaping out to me that is a separate target, even though there's iron around it. And the target trace is telling me that is a separate target, and the iron is not dragging that down. Got a big blob, so let's whip that out and see what our 40-41 is gonna give us. It's kind of usually in the button or buckle range, isn't it? A lot of buckles have come out of this part of the field where I am now. I've had some silver. I think I've had a bullhead shilling out of here as well. I think it's still in the hole. I don't think I was that off with my pinpointing. I'll just take a little bit of the side out, take the loose, and then we'll hunt with the pinpointer. Okay, I don't think we're that far away, so let's have a little look with my Garrett, which is on its last legs. It looks like we're right on top of it. Let's take out the loose. Hopefully it might be. Right, so it literally looks like we are just on it. I'm gonna tease that out with my digger. Let's turn you back on. There we are. Let's make sure I don't nick anything which is possibly in there. Okay, this must be in the loose now. Must be in the loose. Yeah, it's not in there. Okay, is that it? Yep, that's it. Actually, it looks quite round. I wonder what that is. That looks like lead. And that looks to me, I haven't got my glasses on, that is either a little lead token. Let me just see if I can be really uncouth and just, actually let's spray that a minute. I haven't got my glasses on. It might just be unmarked, but like a little round lead token. But once again picked out amongst the iron, and the Manticore is just latches onto targets. I think there is something on there. I haven't got my glasses on. I'm not going to mess about, put my glasses on there. But yeah, so another find picked out using depth audio, latching onto the targets in amongst iron. So okay, on to the next. Okay guys, got another quite interesting one here. I really don't know what this is, but this is definitely coming out now. As I explained with the target trace, the direction I've got my foot, I've literally just before I show you this, I've circled round this 360 degrees, and every degree almost that I turned around that target, the target trace was giving me iron, the pattern was going across the screen, and as soon as I've got into the direction where my foot is, it suddenly crunched up into a small ball. So I think this is a target next to some iron. Now, let me show you what was the worst case scenario. Okay, so hopefully you can see the target trace. Let's get it right under the coil. Quite a big ball there, and then as you move round, can you see that target, it leaching and spreading? spreading. Spreading. There's some flashes of red in there, but then when I get into the direction of my foot, I don't know, there's just something that's telling me that has got to come out. Right, it's not a perfect circle, and I'm not doing that justice. The pattern looked absolutely terrible when I walked around it, and then when I got to that last 5 degrees of that circle, it suddenly became a small ball, which, and I think, can I see that? Can you see that? I wonder if that is it or whether it's just a flat stone. That is it. And do you know what that is? That, in the middle of a field where nobody says that they can get anything else out, quite an iffy target, we've just gone right the way around it. There's iron in there, and we've just pulled out another lead bag seal from all of that rubbish. This Manticore, every time I take it out, it never ceases to impress me, and I'm absolutely just falling in love with the target trace. Now, okay, I'm not naive to think that you can completely rely on it. It's just another tool in the armoury, but it's just great the way you can go around a target and just to double check if you're getting of it. Like Sid and a lot of the other guys say, go by the audio first. If it looks like a good audio, investigate it more. That is where your 2D trace comes in. After the audio has clinched it for you, you go around, map around in a circle and see if you can improve on the target trace. See if you can get it from a splat as you walk round. If you get it into a small ball and you can turn the numbers black, from previously being red, there's a very good chance that is the target. So there we go, another lead bag seal. Okay, another one here. I just can't leave to chance in this field with what it's produced. So it's desperately Manti 16 keeps coming up. It's 17. Right on the line. That has got to come out. That has got to come out because that is knocking on the door of hammered, as well as foil, obviously, with my luck today. But you never know. And that has disappeared, which doesn't concern me, because thin objects can tumble about in a hole and you think they've disappeared and they're still in there, but they just need turning over again. Okay, let's get the pinpointer in there. Let's take out the loose. See if we can see anything. Oh, my pinpointers. I'm gonna have to get a new one at Joan Allen, I think. Don't forget as well, guys, that you can get 10% off a lot of equipment at Joan Allen if you use my discount code, which I've managed to secure with them, DMD10, Discover Metal Detecting 10, and you can get 10% off. Okay. Oh, there we are. Have I just... Something was going on there. I just heard a little flash. Oh, for goodness sake, it's going to be one of those days where I'm going to have to take another bit. Mind you, the last time this happened, on the first video, I took the side of the hole out because I couldn't find it and it was hammered. Well, that is really... Well, it says that it's in the side of this bit, but let's cross our fingers. God, it bloody is as well. I'm not usually that off with my pinpointing, but if that's a hammered, I don't mind. Let's try and wave a bit of this over the coil, shall we? Try and narrow it down a bit. Nope, so it's not in there. Not in there. Not in there. Oh, it's definitely in there. Well, let's tip that out so I can try and do this and keep you here as well. Well, I can't. Nothing is leaping out at me. My pinpointer has decided to... God, whatever it is, that is bloody tiny. This is ridiculous. Right. What the hell is that? Do you know what? I thought that was a bloody hammered, and that is a pewter button. This field has done it to me again. Bloody hellfire. Oh, look at that. Lovely little, tiny little button. Look how thin. If you didn't know any better, you'd think that was a bloody hammered, wouldn't you? Oh, pipped at the post again. Well, there you go. So, yeah, I mean, it's just good skills looking at the target traces. This was quite wispy actually, but yeah, little pewter button mimicking as a hammered. Okay, another interesting one here with quite an interesting pattern. There's nothing around it. Well, actually, there's, as you can see, there's a bit of iron there because the numbers are red. I can hear it, but you can't. So I'm getting a nice little blob under the coil there. 32, 33, which are the right numbers for this field. 90 degrees, elongated. So we're getting a circle one way and we're getting a long line the other way. Let's go round it a little bit. See that pattern changing as we go around it, and you can just hear a bit of iron there. Well, I thought something strange was got. Sorry, I was just thinking to myself there. It looks like I'm chasing it. Let's whip that out before you get too bored. Right, okay. So the pattern wasn't great, but you know, it's still on the centre line, which is obviously the main criteria. Obviously, when things are on the centre line, depending on their orientation, do you know what? I think I can see that now. That explains a lot. You probably can't see that yet, but I'm going to go and get that for you. Can you see that? Right. Okay. So that is a bullet casing. Another one. Yet another one. Which may have indicated why, when you sweep over this with the coil, that you'll get a smaller pattern one way, probably, yeah, that way. So you'll get a smaller pattern that way, and then as you walk around it and then you cross over it that way, that is where it spreads, so you kind of know that something might be a little bit elongated and not round. So that speaks volumes. But yeah, non-ferrous on the centre line, so that had to come out.